Hi everybody, I just wanted to share a little home practice with you. This is what my yoga practice looks like in my real life. I've just come home and put on some jammies and I'm laying out my yoga mat. I've grabbed a couple yoga blocks, a little eye pillow, a regular pillow, you could also use a bolster, and a yoga strap. And I'm just going to start to get myself settled here. I'm pulling my hair up and just getting my dogs used to the idea of me being down on the floor. I'm just home after a long day. Be aware that if you've got pets at home, it's totally fine if you want to pet them while you're getting prepared to practice, or if you want to play with them a little bit, it's all good. Remember, there's no rules. This is your practice. My little guy Bruno here is just not settling down, though, so I think I'm going to get him a treat. Hold on one second. I'm just going to get them settled, and then we'll get started. There we go. I think I've bought myself some time. Let's get started. Just come to any comfortable sitting position and let's bring our attention to our breath. Take the time here just to soften and settle. It's helpful if you want to soften your gaze or close your eyes just to help you tune in. I've placed my right hand on my belly here just to give myself a sense of the feeling of my breath. I find this really helpful. I can really start to notice the movement and the expansion outward as I breathe in, and the softening and the hollowing of my belly as I breathe out. If this is comfortable for you, I totally encourage you to play with it. It can feel really lovely and help you get connected. But if you're not comfortable, it's okay just to rest your hands on your thighs or beside you and just breathe comfortably and fully for a few moments here as we settle in. I'm going to add a hand here to my chest, and this is to help me to breathe all the way up to the top of my lungs. Again, totally optional, but it can help encourage a deeper breath. When you're ready, just take some big shoulder rolls, shoulders up to your ears, back and softly down, just a couple times to loosen up any tension. And we're going to place our hands just right next to our hips after that and start to extend your spine nice and long, reaching the top of your head to the sky. With your next inhale, reach your right arm up and over, leaning over to your left side. Start to inhale, lifting up into the right side of your ribs. A couple slow, deep breaths here. Draw your belly in, and with your next inhale, come all the way back up, stretching up. When you exhale, slowly lower that arm down, and we'll do the other side. Nice big inhale, opposite arm goes up, and exhale, lean over. Really deep inhale into the side ribs. We're just opening the chest in all directions. Easy organic movement. Rise up on an inhale, big stretch. As you exhale, lower the arm down. As you bring your hand down, just sit up tall, cross your right arm over your body and look to your left. Gentle twist leading from the center of your chest. Nice long spine, deep breath. When we come out of twists, we want to come out on an inhale. So when you've had enough of a twist on this side, take a nice big inhale and we'll untwist back to the center. When you're ready, a nice exhale to twist to the other side. Remember to allow yourself to have fun with this practice, to feel good in your body. Big deep breath. Again, untwisting on an inhale. Let's lean back, shake out our legs, loosen everything up. Roll out your ankles or point and flex your feet, whatever feels nice. Let's bring our feet together and our knees apart. I'm going to grab some blocks here just to add some support for my outer knees. You can also place these under your outer thighs. I'm going to wiggle my butt back just so I can really settle into my seat and find that nice long spine. We're going to do some seated cat-cow. So when you inhale, open your chest, arch your back. When you exhale, lean back around your back and tuck your tailbone. And this just helps to bring some mobility to your spine. Move in whatever pace or speed rather feels comfortable to you. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about feeling out our bodies and just seeing what feels good. Big inhales when you open your chest. We're going to move again just back onto the hands a little bit. Stretch the legs forward. I'm going to pull the outer thigh flesh or butt flesh away from each side so I can really root into my sitting bones and stretch my legs forward. Hands are resting on my shins and I'm softening my shoulders. Big inhale, I'm going to lift up. And as I exhale, I'm going to sink forward, leading with my chest. It's really easy to round your shoulders here, but instead try to soften your elbows and your shoulders. Release any tension in your neck and just enjoy a gentle forward stretch. If your hamstrings are tight, remember this stretch might look a lot smaller than what I'm doing here, so be gentle, explore. We're looking for sensation in the back of the legs. And when you're ready, come up. Again, I like to shake it out between poses. I'm going to move into a wide-legged pose now, stretching my legs into a comfortably wide position, and I'm rotating my outer thighs out, inner thighs in, again to settle deep into the pelvis here. I'm going to walk my blocks forward just so I have somewhere to move into without having to go down to the floor. Reach your heels away. Again, just like we did with the legs forward, we're going to sink forward from the chest. So big inhale and exhale, sort of sink forward, chest forward, shoulders soft. I'm resting elbows on blocks just so I don't have to go too deep. And then as I settle in, I might move a little deeper. My home practice is an exploration. I just play with every pose, trying to find the right place to settle in. When that feels done, I'm going to bring the blocks in and sit up. You can set your blocks aside. And I'm going to transition here to hands and knees. When you set up this shape in your body, give yourself a moment just to give some space between knees and wrists. And I apologize if my little dog here gets in the way of your view of what I'm doing. But a little space here, hands right under the shoulders. Here I've got them just slightly forward to give myself a little bit of space. And I've got a lot of space between my feet as well. We're going to move into some cat-cow breath here. So just like we did seated, I'm going to inhale, drop the belly, send the chest forward. And as I exhale, I'm going to round up, stretch up between my shoulder blades, chin to chest. And moving back and forth like this, big inhale, opening the chest. Big exhale, reaching the upper back up to the sky. And again, find your own comfortable pace. It doesn't have to match mine or your neighbor's. This is important to remember in any yoga practice, to find your speed, your shape. Inhales, we arch the back. And exhales, we round the back, belly to spine, big stretch. Come back to neutral, drawing the low belly in and tuck the toes. And when you're ready, send your hips way up to the sky for a downward dog. Remember, it's totally fine here to have soft knees and send the butt way up into the air. In fact, that part's so much more important than getting your heels back. I like to move in my down dog, especially if I'm feeling stiff, so I'm bicycling my feet here, and you can do that if that feels nice. Remember to stay rooted into your hands, and if this gets intense, just come back down to your knees, take a little rest. If it feels good, keep playing with it, and when you're ready to settle back, heels toward the floor, don't worry about whether or not they touch. Then settle in. When I've had enough here, I'm rolling over my toes and coming back to my knees, and you can do the same in your own time. I'm exploring a little bit of extended puppy here. This is a great option instead of down dog or in addition to just dropping the knees down, keeping the hips over the knees, and melting your chest towards the floor with your arms extended forward. This is a great option to build the strength and alignment for down dog, but keep your knees down. And I like to do both in my practice. Notice my deep breaths here, so keep the breath moving. Bring your knees back under your hips. Take your knees wider than your hips. Bring your big toes together. And here I'm going to grab my bed pillow, smoosh it into a little bolster. And this is to remind you, you don't need fancy yoga poses. I'm going to lay myself forward and just fold my arms up into a supported child's pose, just for a little bit of rest and a little bit of settling. And again, there's my little dog checking on me. She loves it when I'm on the ground. When you've had enough rest, you can come out, or you can do as I do here. I've added a block under my forehead, and I'm resting my arms forward. And I might fidget a little bit until I find just exactly the right position so that my head feels supported without feeling like it's being lifted up away from the floor. You'll notice I do a lot of little wiggles in my practice as I settle into each pose. This is just part of exploring. When you're ready, start to move out of that. We can set our props aside. I'm putting my blocks away for now and setting the pillow out of my way. We're going to move down to our bellies here. And I like to just stretch each thigh back a little to flatten out the hollows at the front of my hips. Place your hands right under your shoulders and hug your elbows in close to your body and draw your shoulders up and back. When you're ready, press lightly into your palms and use your back muscles to lift up into a cobra and gently down again. So inhale, lifting up, draw your chest forward, and exhale, lower down. This is great for improving posture and building strength in your back. Again, find your version of this. You could go higher or lower and move at your own pace. Big inhale and exhale. I also like to do this where I lift my hands up. This is even more strengthening for the back and helps you to remember not to use your hands so much when you're trying to work on that back strengthening. When you're ready, tuck your toes, press away from the floor, bring your knees back in underneath you. Here I'm going to grab my blocks again. I know I already put them away, but I changed my mind. I want them again. So I'm going to bring my left leg forward, one block outside, one block on the right side there, and just sink into a lunge. It doesn't have to be this deep. Remember, you're looking for some sensation along the front of the right thigh. Some people will feel this also in the left hip, left leg. Try not to introduce too much tension into your shoulders. Keep it soft and breathe. When you're ready to come out, use the blocks to press away. And here on the other side, you'll see me swinging my leg around. That's the best way for me to get around my belly and find my way into this pose. You'll also notice that I start a lunge by having my front foot a little further forward towards the front of my mat, so I have some place to sink in without having to send my knee too far forward of my ankle. So again, finding sensation, sinking in, finding the breath, softening the shoulders. Using the blocks to stand up is a great tool, but any way you want to come up is great. I'm going to step my feet wide here and bring the blocks in under my shoulders a little bit. And you'll notice I'm going side to side a little. This is a bit of a wide-legged, soft-kneed forward fold. So I'm more about releasing my spine here than I am stretching the back of my legs. So I'm going to use the blocks to support my head, and I'm going to probably play with that a little bit until I find just the right spot to rest. And the sensation I'm feeling in my body in this shape is like the decompression of my spine. I can almost feel the vertebra in my spine sort of pulling apart a little bit in a releasing way. And that's what I'm looking for when I move into a shape like this. Nice deep breath, breathing in and up the backs of my legs as I encourage my hips up just a little. And then exhaling, sort of pouring tension down the back of my spine. So just play with a similar shape. Remember, it doesn't have to match mine exactly, but just encourage that release of the spine. Don't worry about a deep stretch of the back of the legs. Keep the knees soft. And when you're ready, press into the blocks, lengthen the spine, reach forward. Here I'm straightening my legs more. And then exhale, pour yourself forward again. hang out here again for a moment. Again, we'll inhale, come up, reaching the chest forward, lengthening the arms. Top of the head reaches forward, and exhale, fold down. Keeping my movement soft. Start to, when you're ready, move the blocks even further forward, and then roll down to your knees again. I'm tucking my toes under really well on each side, so I kind of have to help my little baby toes get in under there. And I've got the blocks in front for support, and this is to show you that this movement, this shape, as I sink my hips back towards my heels, this movement's meant to stretch the bottoms of your feet and your toes. I tend to go a little higher up, putting my weight more into my feet. I've been doing this for a long time, but most people will find that they'll be leaning more into the blocks and forward because this is pretty intense on the feet. Find what works for you, but just get some sensation into the feet and the toes. Remember, we're still breathing deep and easy. When you're ready to come out, move forward, and ow, yeah, it usually feels pretty crazy when you come out. Just tap the tops of your feet on the floor or roll out your ankles or your toes. It really feels good when you come out of that shape. I'm moving into a pigeon pose next, and so I kind of wiggle my way in. You might be able to see it better when I move to the second side, but what we're looking for is that left knee just outside the left hip. My left foot is a bit further forward than most people will be, especially if they're new to this shape. So you might have your foot pointed more behind you and tucked under you more, and that's okay. And then I sort of just roll around side to side and try to even my hips out so they're both pointed to the front. I'm using a block for support in front, and I'm trying to keep my shoulders and elbows soft and lift my chest. And as I settle in, I might go a little deeper and further down with my upper body. Again, we're trying here in today's practice not to focus on perfection, but just to focus on exploring, breathing, feeling, playing. When you're ready to come out, tuck your toes of your back leg. I like to lift that back leg and bring it forward, or just roll over and give myself a moment to unwind. Here I'm just rolling forward, simple seated pose, just rounding my shoulders. When you're ready, we're going to do the second side, and you might be able to see it a little better from this angle. I'm going to bring my right knee forward. Nope, not like that. Like that. There you go. Bring the right knee out of the hip a little. And I scoot my foot forward because I'm more open in my hips. I didn't mention this on the first side. You can sink that block right behind your back butt cheek there. I'm sure there's a better technical term, but that's where I put it. And I sink back a little. This takes a lot of pressure off the knee if you feel pressure in the front knee during this pose. My back foot here is tucked, but the top of the foot could also be resting or flat. And again, I try to wiggle a little, even out my hips. And then as I settle in, I might move the block away and allow myself to get a little further forward. There's a little Bruno butt walking away. Keep your breath flowing. And when this side feels complete, move that block away, and then I let myself just flop down. That's always kind of fun. Now I'm going to put my blocks away. We'll see if I change my mind again. I think I'm probably going to leave them away this time. Grab your strap and your pillow. Have it nearby because we're going to be moving to our back in a second, and I want all this other stuff handy. I found a hairball. I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah, it's yours, Shayla. Yeah. I'm going to take my hair clip out. It just gets in the way when I lay back. And when you're ready, just come on down to your back. Remember to bring your strap with you. I almost forgot. Here, before you come down to your back, I almost forgot. I like to set my strap on my feet. It just means less wiggling later. We're going to be doing some leg stretches here. So I've shifted it so it's only on my right foot. My left foot is on the floor, my left knee bent, and I'm going to settle my upper back right into the floor, back of my head into the floor. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Just loosely hold the strap. Give everything a nice big squeeze. And we're going to get a good hold on the strap. Each hand holds half the strap. My right foot here is flexed, so flex yours, pull the toes back, and stretch your right heel forward, hovering it just above the ground. And then when you're ready, start to lift your straight leg up towards the sky, but if you feel your knee want to bend, you've gone just a bit too far. I like to walk my hands a little higher on the strap and let my arms dangle nice and heavy. Pull your toes back. Really good back of the leg stretch. Keep breathing. Take the straps in your right hand and place your left hand just at the front of your left hip to keep it rooted down. Take a nice big inhale, and with your exhale, take your leg out to the right. Reach out through the big toe mound, come all the way back up. Switch hands, left hand holds the strap. Right hand presses down on that right hip, keeping it anchored, and then draw the leg over to the left just a little bit. Reach out through the inner edge of your foot. And when you're ready, come back up. Both hands to the strap, and with an exhale, take the leg forward and down. You can sneak your left foot into the strap and your right foot out, right foot to the floor. We're going to do all that on the second side, hugging the left knee in close to the body. Give it a nice squeeze. Use the strap for this, or take your hand around the front of your knee or the back of your thigh. If the strap smacks you in the face like mine just did, just move it aside. When you're ready, one hand to each side of the strap, big inhale, and when you're ready, an exhale sends the foot forward as you straighten the leg, keeping the leg long, slowly bring it up, keeping everything engaged. Walk your hands a little higher on the strap. Full deep breath and a nice stretch up the back of the leg. When you're ready, left hand holds the strap. Your right hand will move to the front of your right hip. We'll take that leg out to the left. Come back up with an inhale when you're ready, and then switch hands. Right hand holds the strap, left hand holds your left hip, and with an exhale, draw your leg over to the right a bit here. It's subtle. You're not taking it really far. Reach up to the inner edge of your foot. Keep breathing. With your next inhale, come up. Both hands to the strap, and exhale, take the leg forward and all the way down. We're completely done with the strap now, so just toss it out of your way as soon as you're ready. At least I think we're done with the strap. Maybe I'll change my mind. We'll see. I'm going to take my feet wide and just rock my knees first to one side and then to the other. Every time I inhale, I'm going to bring my knees back to center and then exhale to the other side. Slow, deep breath. I'm going to get all set up for Shavasana now. Shavasana is just a rest, so I want to make myself really comfortable. I'm going to bunch up that pillow under the back of my knees. This is great if your low back feels pinchy or pressured when you lie on your back. You also can tuck your tailbone under slightly just to lengthen the lower back area. I love a bit of weight on my upper thighs when I'm resting. It's very grounding and comforting, even if you don't want to feel warm. And then I'm placing an eye pillow over my eyes. Whatever you like to be comfortable here is perfect. Some people like to cover up with a blanket or add a pillow under the head. It's your practice, your rules. Get settled in and allow yourself to get really comfortable. Take the time here just to notice the effects of your practice. Allow yourself to notice how your body feels, how your breath feels. Notice the state of your mind and emotions. And just compare all of these things with how you felt at the beginning of your practice. Take the time to notice what feels good about doing this movement. And once you've noticed, let yourself just simply rest. Slowly, when you're ready, just begin to deepen your breath. Introduce some small movements into fingers, toes, wrists, or ankles, and maybe invite a little stretch and movement just to sort of wake up from that deep rest of Shavasana. When you're ready, start to find your way out of this pose. And I experienced a little technical glitch here, so my camera is going to freeze a bit, but I'm focusing not on perfection, but on progress. And this is a practice even for me with this video stuff. When you're ready to come out of your Shavasana, just roll gently to one side. And when you're ready, press your way up into a comfortable sitting position, taking time just to settle into that comfortable seat. Doesn't matter how you get there, but get there mindful and slow. Settle the shoulders back. Relax them down. Take some nice, slow, deep breaths, lengthening your spine again. When you're ready, take a nice big inhale, lengthen your spine. As as you exhale, drop your chin gently towards your chest and bring your hands palms together. We'll close this yoga practice with deep gratitude for ourselves for making the time for self-care, gratitude for this practice of yoga, and for each other. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in my home practice. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will be doing more of these very soon. Remember, practice and progress, not perfection. Have a nice